what's up. Here we go. Are we crispy, people? Let's see how the chat is doing. The stream is in excellent condition. Here we go. All right, so what's up, chat? What's going on? Is everything going through? All right. Hey, yo, Javon, what's up, man? Everything's going through? All right. Okay, so it looks like everything. It looks like everything is hitting up. What's up, J Hart? He says, "Stay on these Xbox necks." He wants J Hart's here for the violence. He wants the violence. That's me. See what's up? Okay, so everything's looking good. All right. Everything's hitting the point. All right. My man says, Cyber King said, I was looking forward to a candlelight dinner last night while listening to your podcast, but happy you had a good night with your lady. My man was going to put on 60 frames, no lag on his date. His date would have been like, what are we listening to? We're listening to your only friend in these YouTube streets. Shout out to Cyber King. What's up, everybody? What's up, chat? Oh, you know I had to do a makeup session. Now, I can't promise you who's going to be able to show up or hang out. You know what I mean? Can't promise you that, right? Only because it's not a regularly scheduled podcast. But I owe it to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Looks like J-Dub. He might show up. He pop up. He's like, hey, he's driving home now. He's going to jump in. All right. Okay. So we'll see, But of course, I owe it to y'all, to talk about these topics, because these topics cannot wait till next week. We're gonna talk about this now, like my boy, J Hart says, we gotta keep our foot on their necks, because it's craziness. We're seeing a lot of craziness. How many drinks? Actually, I didn't drink last night. My wife had the wine. I was cool. I was driving. That's the main thing. Maybe if I would have taken an Uber, stuff like that, maybe I should have. But I drove instead, and when I drive, I don't drink. All right. So, in fact, all my drinking was done on the cruise. To which I owe you guys a cruise review. I was sorry I wasn't able to do it Saturday. But I will plan to do that review. I think it's an amazing experience. So I gotta push that out there, right? Do I sound good? And if you notice why I'm looking to the left is because I have the chat on a separate screen. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at you guys. Hopefully I sound good. The levels is good. Hopefully I get some people come through. All right. To talk about these topics. But you see the topics in the title screen. We gotta talk about it. Some good stuff, man. High Five didn't chart. Hey, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about that. We definitely gonna talk. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. We're gonna talk about a lot of things because it's 2023. We're no longer into things are starting. Things are like trying to figure things out. No, this is where the heat begins. And for PlayStation is over the last couple of weeks, there's some new realizations that I want to talk about also. Let me start out with this. Since to give time to give J-Dub time and see if anyone else is gonna hop on. Let me start out with a topic that's not at the title, but I want to talk about it, and that's I'm gonna preface it with me saying I was absolutely wrong about The Last of Us Part 1 remake being unnecessary. Yes, I admit I was completely wrong on the necessity of that game not being made. At the time, The Last of Us 1 Part 1 got remake. And I was like, Sony doing all these remakes, right? And when it came to Naughty Dog, they released Part 2, which I thoroughly love. I know that game was very divisive for many fans. But ultimately, it's a Naughty Dog game. I enjoyed it. But then after that, they released the Nathan Drake Legacy, whatever, the remake of Uncharted 4 and Legacy, whatever, Legacy 3, whatever, right? And then right after, they released another remake. And I'm thinking, oh, snap. I'm like, yo, Naughty Dog out here pushing remakes after remakes for the PS5, while Insomniac out here is pushing new content. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, I gotta admit, I was in my feels for a little bit, right? I was in my feels. I'm not trying to say I'm entitled to anything, but I was just like, man, Insomniac gave us Miles Morales, which I know is a cross-gen, but then they came out with, I think maybe the first built from the ground up PS5. Some people say that it's so far the only true game that is built ground up from the PS5, taken into all considerations, right? But that's a conversation for another time. But anyway, Ratchet and Clank, built for the PS5, phenomenal. Then they announce, obviously, Spider-Man 2, and they announce Wolverine. So we're seeing all this new shit. I'm like, yo, Insomniac's golden. I'm thinking, man, I can only imagine what Naughty Dog is about to bring to the table. And they brought out a remake and another remake. And be patient for factions. And the next game, Obviously, we know they're making the next game. And I'm like, man, damn, Naughty Dog. I'm like, not like one new thing. At least give us a new trailer or something. Tell me something new. And they, technically speaking, Naughty Dog has not provided anything new. So I'm like, so when they did The Last of Us 1, when they announced The Last of Us Part 1 remake, I was like, man, all right. I mean, I didn't go crazy. Like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. PlayStation 5's dead. I wasn't going to do no drama like that, right? I wasn't going to try to clout chase for clicks on the hate train, right? Because that's like the new thing, right? Like, if you want a lot of, if you really want to blow up in views and stuff, just start doing PlayStation hate videos or PlayStation fanboy hate videos, and believe me, your shit will blow up, right? I wasn't going to do that. But, me personally, the Messiah snuck in. Hold on, let me put my headset. Because you snuck in. You sneaky little fella. You came in. Hello?
Yeah.
All right. You came in sneaking in like Solid Snake.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah. I was like, I heard the little smirk. I'm like, what? Hold on, let me make sure your volume's volume's good. I was like,
Yeah, that's what I do.
Can you talk? Hey, how's he sounding? Is he sounding right, or is it my headset?
Yeah, it could be mine. I'm over here messing with my setting.
All right.
It says I'm okay, though.
Does he sound low? Talking to the chat? Or is it just me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it could be me. No, hold on. It's me.
Okay. I can.
Yeah, because I have my volume low.
Okay. I went up to 60. Mike.
All right. Okay. So let me continue on. So back to The Last of Us remake. Let me be on my soapbox. At the time, I wasn't against it. I wasn't like, oh no, they should have done this, or blah, blah, blah. I just said it feels unnecessary, but I did say at the time, I understand that if you did not play The Last of Us by this point, then this should be the version you play. Don't play the PS4 remaster version. It doesn't make sense. Play the very best version that is available. So I got that. So that was my stance at the time, right? Until I started watching The Last of Us show and saw the after effect that show had. Where now all these new people who probably were never interested in the game no matter what are now coming to play the game. It even charted again. And I'm like, wait a minute, The Last of Us went back on the charts. And I was like, holy shit. And then that got me to thinking, right? Right now, Sony is on PlayStation, Sony, is on a plan. They're doing a playbook I never seen before, and this is why at the time I couldn't get it, because no one's doing what PlayStation is currently doing right now, right? And it's a playbook that's new. I never seen this done by any other company, whatever, right? They are pre-planning games and knowing that some of these games are going to be successful off the back of what else they're doing with TV shows. And I'll use The Last of Us as an example.
Yeah, co-marketing.
Yeah, they knew, they planned that the show will draw people in. So the question is this: if you're going to draw people, you have this new show, and it's a great show. It is fantastic. It's a fantastic show. Mm-hmm. It's brilliant. My wife even loves it. It's brilliant. it's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal, right? If this show or product from a different medium that's passive in nature is going to draw people to now the more active entertainment, right? You got passive and you got active entertainment, right? That's the proper term, right? Am I using the proper term? Passive and active?
Yeah.
Okay. Right? Then what version of that game do you want these new people to play? And the answer is you don't want them to play the PS4 remastered version of 2014, because that is tied to the PlayStation 4. You want these new people who probably were never interested in the game. They may not even be interested in gaming at all. Some of these people probably, they know gaming. They heard of PlayStation. They heard of Xbox. They heard of Nintendo. They just never really found their reason to participate. Because of what they look for in entertainment, you know, they probably see the Halo. They probably see the Call of Duty, the Madden, and they're not interested in that. They probably never truly seen story-driven things with emotional storytelling, right? Mm-hmm. Until that show. And when people are telling me, hey, that is the game. And the game is very close to in fact, the game and the show is pretty much very similar. Like, I am very impressed how well a game created this show. Because it's pretty close, you know? And I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty incredible. So people are like, wait a minute. You're telling me this is a game? And they're like, let me see some clips. And then when they look at the clip, they see that dramatic storytelling is on the same level. Except now, you can actually play the role of the main character. You can actually be Joe Miller. Mm-hmm. And now people are like, I gotta play this so I can be more interactive with this character. Because this is one of the few times where you can take a character from the screen and actually be that character and play him out, right? So the question is, when you got this new audience and you're going to pull them from a place where they never cared about gaming or whatever, but now they want to care about gaming and they want to experience more games like this type, what are you going to introduce them to? Well, you're going to introduce them to the latest, which is the PlayStation 5. But in order to do that, you need the PlayStation 5 game. And that's where The Last of Us 1 Remake came into play. So all these new people, they're not playing the PS4 remastered. They're going out, getting PS5s, getting The Last of Us 1 Remake. And that is absolutely brilliant. That is absolutely a brilliant strategy that Sony has concocted. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely. It is.
It's been tried before.
That is absolutely. Not to this level.
Yeah. What I miss?
Oh, we just got started, J-Dub.
It's PlayStation greatness. That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, man. No,
sorry, I'm late.
No, but think about it, right? I see movie tie-ins like Spider-Man 2 on PS2 and the movie. That's normal. That's normal. The tie-in to Wolverine, X-Men. We seen the X-Men Wolverine game and the movie. I seen that. But what I seen was Sony knowing they're gonna take this show and they're gonna drive new people that don't care about gaming to care about gaming. And those people, we're gonna point them in the direction of PS5, not the PS4, because the PS4 is the old stuff. So we're not gonna go back to the PS4 stuff. But in order to prevent that, you need the new stuff. And that's where the remake comes into play. Because if they didn't have The Last of Us 1 Remake, then all those new people will be like, I want to play this game. Well, the only one that's available is,
PS4.
The PS4 remaster. They can be like, just give me a PS4 and play that one. So he's
that
like,
was
no. You going that way. They're funneling the herd in this direction.
Well, understand Naughty Dog, what they did, I talked to a couple programmers, and they said what Naughty Dog did was, they did it for several reasons, but the easiest thing that they could do is to bring their new software up to date within the PS5, which is what you saw. And they made The Last of Us Part 1, the remaster remake. They made it look more like The Last of Us Part 2 as far as the grass, the growth, and things like that. That's the main thing you really notice is the assets that they have. And it just shows you how far along they did with Part 2. But as far as the characters are concerned, I remember playing when I got the PS4 and the game came out. I was like, is this game really as good as everybody said it was? I asked a guy at GameStop that. He said, yeah, it's one of the best games you can play. And yeah, it's the relationships that are in that game. That's what you're seeing. Because you're right. If you watch the TV show and you know what's going to happen to Sarah, you know what's going to happen, it still sucks when it happens, even though you know what's going to happen. But nothing, it's just visceral.
So is it
filming it? Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Is it safe to say, with that being the success, the reason they made the remake is for this TV show?
That's that was my point.
Yes,
and then season 2, when season 2 come out, before season 2 come out, because there's been rumors, you guys seen it for the last few weeks, they're working on the Last of Us Part 2 remake. So that will probably release before the season 2 of the thing.
That's true. So that's how I started off this conversation. I started off the conversation with me saying that I was wrong in saying that this remake was unnecessary.
Was bad.
Oh no, not bad. I didn't say it was bad. I said it was unnecessary, but I didn't say it was bad. I just said unnecessary. I didn't see no. But hold up, I just didn't see Sony's working on a new playbook. That's I'd never seen before. So I just didn't see that. Oh, they knew. They knew.
Yeah.
These game plan did. They just didn't know it was going to actually work.
Yeah, they didn't know it was going to be.
But they knew what they're doing. They knew, hey, we're going to need a new show. This show could potentially drive in new customers. If new customers wants to play this game, we got to funnel them towards the PS5.
Well, what show just went off the air in January after like a 9-year run?
The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead.
I mean, that show had to end sooner or later.
Well, yeah, but remember, Sony put their show in January because the people who watched The Walking Dead had nothing to watch.
They had a void. Yeah, there would have been a void there.
Yeah.
So Sony did a 3-week ad campaign on The Walking Dead. It's just for 3 weeks. It's kept toward the end of December into January, and they got a lot of that audience watching. And you're right. As far as the co-marketing, it's been tried before. Microsoft has tried it last generation with Quantum Break. They had a TV show with the game. It didn't work. Yeah. Now, this doesn't mean bad stuff. They're doing it with Halo. It's not as successful, but the number that Microsoft was looking for, they were looking for, but they got that number, and now they're doing season 2.
But I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the... It's the same as it's the same as in terms of trying to take game IPs into shows. That's always been done, and I think that's all that was. Yeah. But I think Sony purposely creating the Last of Us remake, right? At the time, a lot of people were like, "Wait a minute." Like,
not me.
But I'm saying
we saw a lot of people. Saw a lot of people.
And I'm not even. Let's not bring up the Xbox guy. I'm talking within the PlayStation community.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a divisive decision, and it had merit. And the argument was, if you look at Insomniac, right, they have Miles Morales. And then they brought out a new game, which was Ratchet & Clank built for the PS5. And then they announced Spider-Man 2 officially. And then they announced Wolverine. So we getting nothing but new shit from Insomniac.
Yeah.
And since The Last of Us Part 2, we've been getting nothing but news of remakes. Like, we technically have not an official trailer of something new from Naughty Dog to this day. And that's why Split
the Fractions game.
No, that's not an official trailer.
But that's still part of The Last of Us.
That's just still talk. That's just Twitter stuff. They have not showed us a trailer.
Okay, I see.
They didn't give us a trailer. They haven't been like, look at the trailer to The Last of Us. We have nothing official other than they're saying that it exists. They haven't given us nothing. You understand?
Well, yeah, but understand, like I said, the two software guys I talked to were like, well, what Naughty Dog did, and it was smart. It's almost like when Rockstar Games, when they did the Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and they put real music, from the real world into the game. That's easy to do, but it costs a lot of money to get the licenses. And they just said, well, Naughty Dog work on multiple things. The AI is a lot better.
No. I get that part. What I'm saying is, when the PlayStation, when I'm talking about when the PlayStation community was divisive, there was merit to the conversation.
Well, I didn't think it was. I thought those guys were idiots because I said it today.
Why?
No, I said it today on my own podcast. These guys are idiots because they can't see the forest through the trees. Yes, they're co-marketing the game.
Well, you're right, Craig. No. You're right, but then Puerto Rico's right too. You're right.
Listen, from the gamer's perspective, I buy a PS5. This is what the gamer sees, right? Of course, now after the fact, we see more information. But from the PlayStation 5 gamer, this is what they see. Mm-hmm. They see, let's say, like Insomniac. Again, they gave us a new game day one at launch. Miles Morales. And it was cross-gen. Then a year later, Rift Apart comes out. Yeah. Built from I think it was the first built from the ground up PlayStation 5 game. I don't know which came out first, Returnal or Ratchet and Clank. I could be confused. But I think it's Ratchet and Clank. But we got that. And then Insomniac comes out and Gary be like, hey, first trailer to Spider-Man 2, which was a banger. Then they come out with Wolverine, which was a surprise. So Insomniac, they're feeding us new shit. And we're like, yeah. And now, Naughty Dog, who is crowned the best out of the best, they be like, hey guys, we're going to give you a remake of Uncharted. We're like, all right, okay, yeah. And then they come, and another remake. Like, whoa, what, like, okay. Like, can you at least give us a trailer to Factions? At least that. They didn't even do that yet. And it's 2023. So what I'm trying to say is the divisive split of PlayStation has merit. Because we still haven't got anything new from Naughty Dog. But now, I can say why they did this. Because right now, they're trying to draw in a new crowd. Because which is absolutely working. And they want that new crowd on PlayStation, on PS5, not PS4. So they had to make a remake.
Can I ask you this, Let me ask you this. Do you think that was a better decision for them to go after a new crowd versus the people that they already got, like the hardcore like us?
I would say yes. We're already here.
What I'm saying, like you're saying, look hindsight. Look in hindsight. You got to look at it this way. When they announced The Last of Us remake, like you said, a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people were like, "Who's asking for this? Who's asking for this? We don't want this. Facts. We want a new IP." Facts. But then that's because the gamer couldn't see the future. You couldn't see exactly what they were trying to do, and now we have a little bit more.
I agree.
Insight to what's going. Now we can kind of look back and say, well, clearly, like they said, 30% of all PS5 purchases are from people who never owned a PlayStation before, and then a lot of those people are buying The Last of Us remake. That's why it's back, on the MPD and stuff like that, because they heard about this, they watched the show, they enjoyed it. Now they want to experience the game. That was a bigger target that was a bigger accomplishment versus, I guess, just going for the people that you already have.
Yeah, I agree. So that's what I see. That's what I'm saying. So I see the bigger goal is to get more people onto ecosystem, and more people on PlayStation is a benefit to everybody else, because that means more game sales, more attempts to create new IPs. The more audience that you have, the more confidence publishers have to put games on PlayStation or to create exclusives for PlayStation. Or for Sony to be able to make deals with third party, like if there's like Sony could go out to third party, hey, we like that game, make that exclusive, build it for PlayStation 5. The more these third party developers sees the growth for PlayStation, they're more aching to be like, you know what, we don't have an issue with that. We don't have an issue making games specifically for PS5, and Sony as a publisher have no issues with their own first party making more games for PS5 because they see the growth for the audience.
Well, clearly, right? This growth is going to go through the stratosphere because these guys were able to sell 7.1 million consoles within 2 months.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy.
That's and they're projecting now. They're projecting even higher number, even a higher sales goal for this next quarter because you guys know you can go into the store now. You can actually go on Amazon and Walmart and actually just buy a $399 digital PS5, and you weren't able to do that for. Yeah, there's still a lot of people that were looking for the digital. They couldn't get a digital because they were like, that was just so super rare.
Yeah.
So now, everybody can get one. They're damn sure getting it because, we've seen these games topping the charts in the NPDs. We see the console being sold by revenue, by the number of consoles sold. It's say what you want. This shit is working. Clearly, it's working in Sony's favor.
Yeah, let me say this. This adds to what both of you all were saying. The people who were doing the complaining are the same people who told you Sony was going in the wrong direction. Do you know what happened today? That nobody talked about.
Oh yeah, so the guys, so there's PlayStation dudes that overdid it. You're right. They overdid it. They overdid it.
Returnal went to PC and nobody's talking about it because it's just not that big a deal. Yeah. You've had an opportunity to buy it. It's been in what Plus or whatever it's called. It's been in that service. You can just download it if you want to play it. My point to you is that the guys who did the most complaining are the ones who didn't know what the hell they were talking about. Sony had a plan from the jump. Yeah. They did it with Uncharted. They took their most bankable actor, Tom Holland, that's Sony's most bankable actor, and they made a movie on I think like a $98 million, but maybe a little more than 98 to 130 million. It made 400 million. So now they have The Last of Us, which again, the trade, forget about the fanboys. The trades are saying that this is the best television show ever. So, and I guess an opinion, and it could be hyperbole, but when the trades are agreeing with that, that's big. That's a big deal. So you got a group of people on the outside who don't know, come here from Sikkim, and they're just going to complain. Like I called them this morning, a bunch of hobosexuals who don't know what they're talking about. And the problem isn't what they say, it's the people that are listening to them. You had people screaming that Sony was the $70 games was hurting Sony. They're making record profits. Sony's going in the wrong direction. Record profits. I can see if your opinion is that at one point, but when the numbers come in, you need to shut up.
Yeah, the numbers at that point, just shut up. Move on. It's over.
And move on. Yeah, enjoy it. You can be a big boy and say, "Hey, look, I was wrong about this." And there have been. Let me make this clear. There have been multiple content creators come out and say they were wrong about saying Sony was going in the wrong direction. You got to give credit where credit is due. But you got these babies out here that aren't going to do that. They're just going to say, "Oh well, this and oh well that." It's sorry, but I don't feel bad for the people saying it because you have a right to your opinion, but you don't have a right to your own facts. So like I said this morning, Sony knows what they're doing. They get information that we don't get, that we'll never have. Companies get information, intel, like a military. United States gets intel all the time, whatever. We don't know about this stuff. So, and they just need to shut up. At this point, shut up. And like you said, Porter Rock, move on. People like me to kick your ass, the kicks ass, the kicks your ass if you don't move on. I'll give everybody a week to just don't say nothing. But if you bring it up again, I'm going to have to go ahead and crack some cheeks like I did this morning.
All right, let me move on. So let me just shout out to the chat. We got AC as a member. What's up? Let me just try to catch up on everybody. I want to say shout out to everybody in the chat. I hope you're enjoying the show. Stuart Stokes with a super chat. He said, wanted to bring this up last week, but before the Switch, oh, this is all right. I see what you're saying. Wanted to bring this up last week, but before the Switch, handheld games costed $40. So Nintendo charging $70, they almost doubled handheld game cost in one gen. That's a good question. Like, do we consider Switch console games or do we consider them handheld games? Because a lot of people say, oh, everybody uses Switch as a handheld. So does that mean we're paying $70 for handheld games? Interesting.
Even worse. That's even worse.
That's even worse. Right. That's interesting.
Let alone the console, right? Now keep in mind, Porter Rock, this is when people bring up the Switch, this is them being disingenuous. Because last generation, when the Xbox One and the PS4 launched, they were competing. And they were competing with the Wii U. It was Nintendo that decided to scrap that generation and start over on a new generation.
Yeah.
So Sony and Nintendo didn't have that liberty to just stop. What if Xbox, what if Microsoft would decide to say, hey, listen, we can see this generation. We're just going to retool up and drop a new console next year, right? What if they did that? Then they would be in a whole different place. They would probably be a similar position like Nintendo. But Nintendo was the one that was able to do that, and they came out with the Switch. So technically, that Switch is a current gen console, right? And so that's what people are not. They're kind of, when they start doing these comparisons against the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One, and even the PS4 and stuff like that. It's like, oh, they got 120 million units. It's like, yeah, that's really great. But in order for them to do that, you got to combine two totally separate generations for them to do that. And then on top of that, that hardware is what, 5? How old is that hardware now?
It's going to be 6 years old.
It's going to be 6 years old, right? It was already that hardware was already obsolete, right? Those chips was already obsolete when it launched. Those were old NVIDIA chips.
Yeah. And
these guys got the nerve to jack the price up to $70. Now, I know people complain about Sony doing it to $70. And I'm not going to say whether you're right or wrong. We all have opinions. Some see the value of games being 70, some don't. But I think we can all agree for Nintendo, for something that runs at 240p and 360p and stuff like that, like, listen, Nintendo gets a lot of leeway with a lot of shit. But that is something that we should be united against. If you're going to complain about Sony and Microsoft jacking up games to $70, and you're quiet when Nintendo's doing it, and there's nothing next generation about their game. There's no added value. To me,
that's the best part. I love it. I personally love it because the narrative of $70 got shut. People shut the hell up now. Now, no one's going to bring that up. You cannot talk shit about a $70 game without talking shit behind Nintendo. Done. I love it. I love it.
Not even PC dudes.
Nope,
they get $70 game.
Yeah, so that's it. So we moved on from that shit. I love it. I was like, when Nintendo did that, even some of the Nintendo dudes, when like the leak of Tears of the Kingdom was gonna be $70, they were praying that it wasn't true because they had to delete insane amount of tweets. Because guess what? And this whole $70 thing, it just proves that people voicing their opinions, right? They might as well just stop complaining about stuff in gaming, because as soon as it happens to their favorite brand, they're not gonna hold the line. They'll accept it. So then what's the point? If you're gonna complain about what this is like, and I said this when I made the video or live last week talking about this. If you're gonna complain about another brand and what they're doing, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, hold up, if my favorite brand did this, would I still accept it? If the answer is yes, then shut the fuck up. Just shut up. If the answer is no, you're going to hold the line and you're going to be whatever, no, then okay, complain about it. Do what you got to do. But if you're going to accept from your brand anyway, you're not going to keep it real, you're not going to keep the same energy, then don't complain at all. There's no point.
Oh, yeah. You ponies accept anything. Y'all take whatever Sony give you.
Oh, shit. Shit.
$70 is not really that bad for what you get, It's just all about the value. It's
now it's all about value. Zelda. Nintendo makes Game of the Year. Zelda's a Game of the Year worthy title. Oh, it's still Game of the Year at $60.
I'm gonna take it a step further. Am I the only one that's willing to jump out on a limb and say that Zelda, what is it? Tears of the Kingdom is DLC?
Oh,
that shit look exactly like Breath of the Wild, man. Come on, what are we doing here?
I'll stay quiet. Yo. No, shit. I'm leaving that alone.
It's just DLC.
I'm not going here. You and Joffrey can have a podcast on that.
Hey, it looks the same. We know it runs sub 720p. That's already verified. But and all they do, they give you a way to like make different vehicles and shit. Like, come on, man, is that really worth $70? I thought, like, come on, like, what more? Yeah, listen, there's no graphic enhancement. I thought they were gonna. I mean, I get it; they're limited by the hardware, but that's another reason why they shouldn't be charging an extra $10. Because I mean, what more could?
Yeah, I want him to charge. I'm with Porter Rock. I want him to charge. We know Zelda ran off. That's all she ever does because Link keeps beating her up or his sex is bad. But this woman keeps running away from him and then he gets all obsessive and then he goes after her. Eventually they're going to say he's a misogynist. Eventually.
Test.
But
snap. Hello?
Let me say this here.
I want it to be $70.
I wouldn't really complain if they launched it with new hardware. If they come out with a Switch 2 or something like that, I wouldn't mind spending $70. So what are you paying extra $10 for? At least with the Xbox Series, right? At least with the Xbox Series and the PS5. At least you got, better frames, 120 hertz mode. At least you got, a bunch of additive stuff, all kind of different, additions, whether it's modes, whether it's, you're going to get your 60 frames locked, that's, just regardless. Like, it's stuff that you can clearly see that this couldn't have been done on a previous generation. Yeah. You can't say that. You can't say that with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. You can't say that with any of the new games that they got coming out. You can't say that because clearly they got to run on.
I mean, clearly we know they're doing it because they can. Because we got to admit, overall, Nintendo does provide quality. People buy Switch for first party, not really for third party. So they created the perfect environment to do this. And let's say you have a choice. If you don't buy these first party games on Switch, then what are you buying? Third party? Yeah. Not really. They're not creating the very best third party out there, so they know what they're doing. Nintendo knows what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me hit up these super chats real quick, and then we'll go on to the next topic. Shout out to Alfonso Carter, channel member. Appreciate you coming through. Shout out to all the channel members. Thank you so much for rocking out with me, man. I truly appreciate it. The Ruham, my brother. What's going on? Hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for coming through. I saw another super chat over here. Where we at? Megatrans. He says, "How you loving Hogwarts, P-Rock? It's my game of the year so far. The game is incredible. House of Slytherin. We read it. Oh, I love it. And listen, I seen all the Harry Potter movies, but because my daughter grew up on that, so I watched it all with her. Right, but it wasn't like my thing. But I watched it with her, so I do understand the lore, whatever. But as far as the games and all the Harry Potter games and the Lego, I was just not interested. When I first saw this, I caught interested, and I knew it. It's an amazing game. It's incredible. CB3 with the super chat. Thank you so much, CB3 with a $10 holla. He says Spider-Man 2 is gonna do damage. Emotional damage out there. I believe that's the game this year that will completely widen the gap between Xbox and them. What are your thoughts on this? We'll start with Craig. What do you think? You think Spider-Man 2 coming out this fall, according to Insomniac, you think that's just going to break open the gap?
Oh, I mean, as far as sales, I mean, that's going to keep increasing. Everybody can see the trend line. But yeah, I mean, with Microsoft at that point, I assume Stalker will be out, or Stalker 2 will be out, and possibly Starfield will be out, and maybe they'll have a release window for Hellblade. So, but as far as bringing, again, understand what Spider-Man does. It brings the comic book people and the movie people and the gamers together as one, and it's just, once you get that effect going, you get all these, in marketing, it's called a force magnifier. I learned that from my niece, and because she's in marketing, and so it's going to, the trend line will continue. It's just going to get worse. Right now, multiple people, Benji Sales, multiple other people on Twitter, they said the concern with Microsoft right now is the stagnation of the console sales. I mean, they've already. It
didn't just stagnate. That shit went back.
Yeah.
It's doing worse year over year. Like less people are interested. This is the year where momentum should be building, and we're gonna table that to the next topic, right? Let me do another super chat. Megatrans again says Nintendo's the GOAT. They get a pass in my book. Well, you know what? When you consistently make quality, you ultimately do get a pass. I think really, it's not really so much. I mean, of course, we could talk about Nintendo raising the price to $70 because of the lack of technology. But it's not really so much that. It's how many people bash PlayStation for $70. And then they instantly backtrack because it's happening to their favorite brand. That's the issue in this community.
That happens all the time, right? Like, Sony gets the flack for shit that Nintendo and Microsoft guys are ultra silent on when the shit happens. Just like the price hike. Sony got shit for it. Everybody bashed them. Raising the prices of the consoles. Remember in the different territories? Mm-hmm. Sony got flack for it. Then Microsoft did it. Then it's just the way it is. But I think that just comes with being number one. When you're number one, you don't get those luxuries that other people do because you are number one. So people kind of hold you to a higher standard. For example, a game that comes out on PlayStation that's rated a 70. Everybody will call it trash. Everybody will say, "Oh, it bombed, it failed." But a 70 on an Xbox is a must play. You see what I'm saying? It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. Oh, try it. You got to buy it before you talk about it. You see, and this is the media and the fanboys. This is not just the fanboys, right? So is again, like I said, there's a huge burden. If on PlayStation, if a game doesn't hit 90 plus Metacritic, look what they did with Horizon Forbidden West. Look what they did to Returnal and some others. Games that get 88 on PlayStation, it's a flop. It failed, right? It didn't hit the mark. So PlayStation, like Sony, has to crank out a 90 something in order to get the credit. Whereas everybody else can just fucking crank out 65s for fucking 2 generations and they're okay. They got a bunch of fun games, right?
Shout out to Kratos. Kratos says, P-Rock, don't forget about Blandrew. Oh yeah, he was one of the biggest. Yeah, he was one of the biggest $70 haters. Yeah, that shit. Yeah, for like 2 solid years. Yeah. And then Nintendo flipped it up on him. And now I guarantee he's gonna be buying day one $70 games. Guaranteed. Yep.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, Puerto Rock, right? And this is just us being honest. What we're saying right now, this shit is honest. This happens all the time. Dudes bash, they bash another platform, but when that shit happens to their platform, they're silent or they accept it, right? Well, that's just the way it goes. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah, sure.
Not to let Nintendo off the hook, but like Puerto Rock said, Nintendo put out quality products that universally are loved and universally are considered to be of quality. So people, and I've always said, I'm on the record for saying it all the time, people will pay however amount they feel like if it's something of quality. This is what the Xbox community doesn't understand. A lot of people don't consider Game Pass a good quality because there's no games in Game Pass that they deemed worth it, right? And that's what it is. That's not to say that it's not a good value. It's a good value to somebody. For a person who doesn't really play games like that, they're uber casual. They don't really, buy games and stuff like that. It's a great value. You get 100 and something games. You can play them to your heart's content. But to the majority of people, they look across the aisle. They see Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon, Wolverine. They see all of these big blockbuster games that cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make, and it's high quality. It's a huge difference. It's versus, it's like when you go shopping. Sure, you can go to Value Village or Value Mart or the local store to save a buck or two. But if you want that the top of the line T-bone steak that's just super juicy, the tomahawk. you got to go to Kroger's. You got to go to the big shit. You got to go to the big stores. That's just what it is.
Yo, shout out to CB3. He says you're right, P-Rock. People are going to be in their feelings when Spider-Man 2 drop. I'm here for it. Listen. When Spider-Man 2 drops, you're gonna hear. I already tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna see on Twitter these fanboys, these stands are gonna be like, oh, see, we can't have COD exclusive, but they can have Spider-Man 2, and they're gonna add the FTC, they're gonna add the CMA, they're gonna add the European Union, the President of the United States is gonna be added. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna add all these people. They're gonna add Lauren Boebert. They're gonna add whoever they gotta add over this whole thing, right? You know, watch. It's gonna be emotional damage when Spider-Man 2 comes out. It's gonna be a train wreck. Oh my god! And I am gonna soak it all up. Oh my god! I'm gonna soak it up. I'm gonna soak it up like the way Superman absorbs the sun. Oh, it's gonna empower me. I'm gonna be like this. Oh my god! It's gonna be like the scene where Thanos got the 6th gem, and he's just like, ooh, that's gonna be me that day because I'm gonna soak up all the salt. Holy cow! I'm gonna be in my ultimate form that day. Yeah. Oh, Megatron.
Now that goes gold. No, when it goes gold, that's when you'll see the tears.
No, when it actually comes out and people playing it. Oh my god! Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Megatron says, "Is Kratos?" On super chat, it says Megatron. It says, "Is Kratos in the toilet? He sounds horrendous. Well, you don't like his voice, boy.
Oh man,
boy." He's grandpa, man. Yeah, y'all making fun of grandpa.
I'm on my phone. Here's the thing, Puerto Rock. Back to your question. Is it Spider-Man that's going to be that breakout? I think, I'm going to be honest, I think the breakout is going to happen way before then. I believe next week when PSVR comes out, I think that's going to draw the line in the sand. No, listen to me. That's going to draw a distinctive line in the sand because everyone's going to be talking about PSVR. Everyone's going to be talking about those 30 games that are out, right? Everyone's going to be talking about, everyone's just, it's Christmas. Anytime we get new hardware, it's just like Christmas, right? Everybody's doing unboxing. Everybody's talking about PlayStation. All these journalists and media and all these guys, it's going to be PSVR splattered all over the screen. Everybody's going to be on Twitch streaming GT7 and all these games, right? You're going to see that for that whole week. And it's just going to be crickets and silence. And that mind share from that week of just being bombarded with just positive PlayStation news and all of these games here and this hardware here. And it's just, I think that's going to draw the line in the sand. And that's going to distinguish the Xbox from the PlayStation this generation. I think after that, it's just all downhill. It's just, they're not going to be able to recover. Even if this Call of Duty deal shit goes through, I'm going to be honest, the mind share is just already, people don't care. The mind share is already moved.
Okay. I think the mind share is already set.
Here's the thing. Once you lose that mind share, it's a wrap. You can forget it.
It's hard. It's hard to turn the ship around. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Look, the PS3 generation.
The PS3 did it, but look what it took. It took Sony to double
down
on games.
Generation.
Yeah, it took Sony to double down games, but at the same time, it took Microsoft to stop doing what they were doing because they focus on Connect.
Yep.
That's why also helped. For whatever reason, we know the reason, not Matrick. They didn't continue what they were doing. They completely decided to go in a different direction to really push Connect, and that gave Sony the opportunity. Well, while these guys trying to do that Central, look at all the games we got, and that kind of like shifted focus. So it's very difficult.
Yeah. Listen, no Starfield is good. Listen, I hope Starfield is very successful. I hope it gets a 96 Metacritic. I hope it's everything that everybody wants. But listen, that's a tall hill to climb, especially for a game. We already saw gameplay. We already saw. It's just a tall. And then the people who making it is like it's a tall hill. It took all of their games that they ever released. It took years after they made the game, they released the game for them to fix it and patch it and get it bugged into a state where it was able to sell and do all of the stuff and get all the accolades. I don't know.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about Starfield's going to be put in a very tough position, right? Because right now Starfield's supposed to be that big game, but the thing is, it doesn't have help. See, PlayStation, let's say like the next best game is Spider-Man 2, but it's not alone because they already had backing from for Horizon Forbidden West. It had backing from Miles Morales. It had backing from
God of War.
It had Gran Turismo 7. There were other games to help support the ecosystem. Like PlayStation 5 is not relying on Spider-Man 2 to solve 2 years worth of problems.
Absolutely.
Starfield is like literally the game to erase like over 2 years of nonsense. And that's not fair for the game. Like, it should be multiple games throughout the year since launch to help build and grow this huge library of great things. Microsoft haven't done that. So right now, all the chips is being bet on Starfield, which means it has to be like almost near perfection to show that weight. Spider-Man 2 is not put in that position. Right? There's nobody saying, damn, I went a whole year without playing the PlayStation game. Man, PlayStation's not creating bangers. That's not the case at all. It's creating tons of bangers, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that. So Starfield is in a bit of a crutch. Hopefully maybe Redfall, Stalker 2 can really step up and be breakout hits. That would help the momentum. Yeah. But if those games are mid, if Redfall ends up being a mid game and Stalker 2 ends up being a mid game. Let's say you could roll the dice and say Forza Motorsport usually ends up being great, but let's say if it ends up mid or not that impressive, and it comes down to Starfield, that's a tall order to put on that one game. Shout out to Ekim, thank you for super chat. Starfield fell since it's straight to Game Pass. That's what he's asking. You know what? We're gonna segue into the actual first topic. Why are fanboys so desperate to try to convince the community that Horizon Forbidden West was a sales failure? Like, what's going on here? Like, the game literally was the 9th best-selling game on MPD for all of 2022.
Yeah.
If that type of game, that's like the 9th best-selling game of the year, is considered a sales failure, then the gaming industry is either A, in trouble, or this community is getting dumber.
Well, according to the reports online, that game, because of the position that it came in, it sold between 9 to 11 million copies.
That's what people are projecting.
Because the next game was that Nintendo game, the Pokemon, whatever, the fucking something, whatever, the different color Pokemons or whatever. Yeah. Because they make so many, I know what you're saying.
I think they released like
that one. Yeah, exactly. That one sold like 11.6 million, right? Mm-hmm. And then Horizon was like right there. So if it's there, that means that's projected how much it sold because that's based on sales.
No, but I will say this though, because I got your back, bro. You know what I'm saying? These guys who did that, they didn't realize that Pokemon on MPD does not include Nintendo digital sales. Nintendo does not.
No, that's true. That's true. So that's true. But I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing their sales versus that. I'm just seeing the range of what it could be.
That's true. That's true.
Yes. So if that Pokemon would have sold 5 million copies, that's crazy for me to say that Horizon sold 11 million. But what I'm saying, you had to sell somewhere in that area because you're the next person in line from there, just based on MPD sales.
And it came in ahead of multi-plat game MLB The Show. So Sony sold 3 of Sony studios had top 10 selling games with.
But that's every year though. That's every year. That's every year. So
now, why? I just think they're looking for something to counter all this momentum that Sony has from the TV show the last.
It's just jealousy.
To be fair, Craig, they said the same thing about God of War Ragnarok because they didn't give any updated numbers past the 3 million in 3 days or whatever. So they said that it fell until Sony came out right before their quarterly financial, right? You don't know the reason why Sony are holding that back. They could be holding these numbers back for something else, for their next financials or for something else. And come to find out.
Yeah, Jim Ryan and Herman Holtz don't share information the way the last group of guys did. I mean, that's obvious. They hold it close to the vest, and then they brought up even at CES they brought up the Uncharted movie making $400 million, and Jim Ryan walked out there and he had a little pep in his step, like they're holding these numbers because they know what they got, and I just think it's the momentum of the TV show plus the momentum of the PSVR, like J-Dub was saying. So This is just being said to try to stump the momentum. Nothing's going to work because, as you said, Porter Rod, the MPD is reporting on like the amount of money. That's one of the things people always forget about.
The money. It's really about the money.
So it sold fine. I mean, it's a top 10. It was a top 5 selling game in the UK.
Yeah.
So
well, and they just didn't Sony just they just won some kind of award. So they just sold over 6 billion or 8 billion.
For
games of all times. That's the number one. Yeah, Sony's the number one company, gaming company in history. I mean, which we knew that, but
because you reported, you did a podcast before you went on vacation, I think, on the numbers, the PS5 being up a certain percentage and Xbox being down 202%,
and Xbox down 32%.
That's a topic. We'll go get to that.
All this has to do with all this bad news that the deal, the Activision deal, the CMA pretty much bitch slapping Microsoft, saying you can either take King and the rest of this and leave this part alone.
That's funny.
Getting it,
that's funny. Remember when Microsoft was saying, COD, Call of Duty's not that big. CMA's like, all right, so sell it off then.
Yeah, sell it then. So it's just a lot of, they're getting a lot of negative. Now to me, I don't know why they can't. This is just my question. This is an overall observation. I don't know why these cats just can't enjoy what they have. Xbox is the Xbox. It's doing exactly what the engineers said it was going to do. Phil Spencer said it was going to play a bunch of old games better. That's what it's doing. He said that it was going to allow to do 120 FPS in some games and have ray tracing. That's what it's doing. Yeah. So I don't know why these guys just can't accept this is what I got. I don't understand it personally, but and it's a long-term investment. If some investment bank comes up to me and says, this investment here with Sony is going to pay off immediately. You're going to have games right out the box with ray tracing, 60 frames. Okay, fine. That's a fast investment. The Microsoft investment is a longer-term investment, and that's just it's obvious to me that they're not happy. And instead of them just getting upset with Microsoft and saying, damn it, I'm a consumer, I'm unhappy with what they're doing, I'm done with it for a while. I'm going to go watch my kids grow up or whatever. They're mad. I just do not get be mad at Microsoft.
Let me put this back on track because we lost track with Horizon. So
no, the Horizon has something to do with that. It's all the momentum that Sony has, and the Horizon's a year old.
But I want to touch on the thought of what participated. This is Horizon for Horizon Forbidden West is now going to be on PS Plus Extra and premium tier, so now it's part of the subscription service. So if you are part of that if you're part of that extra premium tier, you now will have access to Forbidden West. And many people, now I can say many people, some people are equating that. So this just proves that it's a failure. And it's a weird because shout out to Persona, he's one of the first one that says, okay, so if Horizon Forbidden West is considered a failure because it appeared on a subscription service 1 year after release, then what do you call games that appear day and day? If the equation is game appearing on subscription service is considered did not meet expectations, then what are games that right off the bat appear on a subscription service? And I was like, that's a good question. If that's the metric, if the metric is going on a subscription service a year later, it didn't meet expectations, then what does that say about games that right off the get-go you're going to put it on a subscription service?
I mean, that's jackpot. I mean, he nailed it, and they can't come back from that.
Checkmate.
That's checkmate. I mean, think about it. The fact that people were willing to spend $70 on a game versus somebody who's willing to spend $15 a month perpetually. That kind of speaks volume. Yeah. So I mean, numbers don't lie. That's the good thing about it. Numbers don't lie, right?
It's the 9th best-selling game of the year. It's potentially anywhere, like you said, 9 to 14 million.
Yeah.
The game, sold at premium value. And then a year later, if Sony felt, at this point, Forbidden West reached as far as it can go. Let's take it a step further by putting it on a subscription service. And that's what we've been saying
Well,
for the Game Pass thing a lot. Like these premium games, you know, you sell them, and then you put them on the subscription service down the line. When they pretty much exhausted, you know, the reach that it's going to go. Because one, you get the actual financial investment that you invested in for the premium sales. And then once you reach your audience, hey, we're going to add it to subscription service now. You know, it's like the movie theater concept. The movie comes out in the movie theater first, and then, let's throw it onto a subscription service.
Yeah. Let me say this, right? If Horizon Forbidden West flopped, why would they come out with the Burning Skies? I am not even going to call it DLC because I mean it's next gen only, right? And they made a whole nother fucking Horizon game that comes out next week with PSVR. Call it a mountain. Clearly,
and they're planning the rumored MMO.
The movie, we got the MMO. You got, isn't it a movie or TV series or something that's coming with that? So, listen, this is, let's face it. Make no mistake about it. Horizon IP is part of their main stable. It's part of it's not going anywhere. It's right there with God of War. It's right there with Gran Turismo. It's right there with The Last of Us. It's there. It's going to be there. It's right there with Ghost of Tsushima. These are their flagship titles that showcase their hardware. It's not going anywhere. So I don't get why people are still trying to ask.
Okay, let me hit up. Let me hit up the super chats, and then you get to your question. Kratos99 said, P-Rock, did you see the Starfield trailer at the Super Bowl? Did you see the ray tracing? Oh wait, I forgot. Nothing there. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. The Xbox dudes that spread that rumor, I don't know why they even set themselves up for failure, bro. That was unbelievable. It was a phenomenal failure to even done that. Like, why they even do that? Shout out to my sister from another mister, the Ashen Luca. She says, hello, my brother from another mother. What happened? What? Who's he talking to? The Ashen Luca says, hello, my brother from another mother and company. Also, F Horizon Snooze Fest. She running and hashtag a joke for anyone who doesn't get it. Nah, that ain't no joke. We know you true feelings.
Hey, ponies, go stomp out. Get her.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Oh, shit. All right, so hey, we got my boy Call Me Jay up in here.
What's up, bro?
What's going on, my brother? Okay, so what's your question?
I came in at a good time because you guys are talking about the subscription stuff. So with Horizon, my question is, if Horizon didn't sell well, that's what people are saying because they haven't talked about numbers and they put it on a subscription. If the game didn't sell well, wouldn't them putting at the subscription service be even worse sales-wise? Because Sony's so focused on units sold of games, wouldn't they sell more by just putting the game at a discount over a period of months rather than putting it at a subscription service?
True.
Like
that's
they did
true.
Right now?
That's true. It was never.
So not only the points that you made about them continuously supporting this game beyond just this current game, but the DLC plus the VR game, which is in a way it's more expensive than making the flat screen game because VR needs a lot more R&D to make a good VR game, right? But if it was on the subscription, that doesn't really mean that the game did bad because they're making less money now that's on that subscription, and they're not about subscription services like Microsoft is.
Well, the best thing is like what they're doing. If you know you got a new game coming out, right? You take just like what they did with God of War. They knew that Ragnarok was coming out, so they gave you the 2018 one for free, right? That entices people to get in there. They come, they beat the game. Oh man, I can't wait for the sequel. Guess what? The sequel come out, they pop another $7 in there. They sell all these millions of copies. I mean, I just don't understand how someone rationally can think that just because they didn't update you with some numbers that a game flopped when clearly they're investing even more money on a VR game, a full-fledged AAA VR game, and a full-fledged next generation game. I just don't understand that. But again, you're talking to people who pretty much have no choice but to be in a subscription service because that's what their console has become, a subscription service.
The thing about Horizon is that I myself didn't play the game, but it's not so far-fetched for me to say that it's a pretty good game because a lot of people really like the game and they have played it and shared gameplay of it. So if you look back at let's say, quote unquote, shitty PlayStation exclusive games that have come out. For example, The Order, which wasn't that very good, it still sold a lot of games. It still sold a couple millions, and Drive Club also sold a couple millions, even though it was a bare bones game when it came to that, right? So even their shitty games do well. So this one, you could say it's average or above average. I would say it still did really good. They just haven't showed the numbers. Do they really have to, though?
Right here, it's Neo Wise with the super chat. It says Sony only said God of War sells because it broke records. So now bots saying that it is a flop if it's not breaking records. Horizon Forbidden West has sold 8+ million so far for sure. And I think that's a good point. Neo Wise breaking a good point.
I agree.
If a game not matching the very best doesn't mean that the game itself flopped. Like, some games are going to be top tier. Like, for example, if a game doesn't sell like Grand Theft Auto 5, that means all games flopped? Like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to have some games that are exceptional. Like, especially if you set a record, of course Sony's going to immediately say, holy shit, we got a game that sold 11 million, new PlayStation record. That doesn't mean...
Days Gone sold 9 million copies.
No.
And they, so, I mean... To most people, that's a huge success. But to Sony, right? Maybe Sony has a different metric of what they want a game to sell. But I don't know. You know, I don't know.
Here's a point.
Do we I just don't. I'm not sure. Someone can probably clarify. But Sony, every time they talk about sales of a game, it's because it broke records, right?
So far,
every time
it's tied to a big metric.
Right, so like when Uncharted came out, it was like Uncharted beat this game, and then God of War beat this game, and Spider-Man beat God of War.
Or Horizon sold 20 million. I think it's certain milestones. I think it's about milestones.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's that. Okay. I think that because again, they didn't mention Last of Us sales until it reached 10 million.
Okay.
So
you think 10 million is like the good number for them to be like, hey?
I think 10 million is their number. I think 10 million is that. If a game reaches 10 million, they'll start broadcasting it out. I think that, to me, because I'm noticing that trend. Because again, remember when The Last of Us that they came out and said, "Oh, it sold 4 million in 3 days," and then you didn't hear nothing. And then remember The Last of Us Part 2, that also going through. Oh, it flopped. It sells flop until Sony announced it sold 10 million. So potentially, unless it does something break out within the first week, they'll probably wait till it reaches 10 million. And here's a comment right here. Geraldo Nunez, thank you for the super chat. Geraldo says, adding a game like Horizon Forbidden West to a subscription service is a bad move. A game of that level should go to a subscription service after 3 years. What do you guys think about that comment?
What's the metric though? Like,
we don't have a metric, but
we don't have a metric.
What do you think about that? Do you have your own personal opinions of how long?
I feel like we all have our opinions on this, but we just don't have the numbers that Sony does. Obviously, for them to for us to have like a more clearer picture of what's going on, and if it's good to do it 1 year, 2 years, or 3 or even 3 years.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm just going to say that. Well, they, being Sony, they have a tier system on their subscription service, and if people are not going into that highest tier, you have to entice people to go into that tier.
Well, this game is going to be on the extra, so you don't need to be on the highest tier.
Well, no, this is premium. I thought this was going to be the
premium.
No.
So PS4,
I saw extra, I think.
So PS4, PS5 games will be on extra. The games that appear on premium are the PS3, PS2, PS1, the trials. But PS4, PS5 games is on extra. You don't need premium.
Can I jump in on this?
Sure.
Really fast, and I'll just simply say that if this is what they're going to do, I agree with Call Me Jay. What is the metric of that? This is what I say. There are people. Sony has their own metrics, what they deem successful, and what they'll do to move different things. The game is successful. I mean, it's like J-Dub was saying, it's a top 10 selling game of the year, top 5 in the United Kingdom. So again, I just think there are certain people looking for something, to blunt. Well, I
don't think Geraldo's saying it from because it doesn't sound like he's hating. He even says a game of that level, which tells me Geraldo sees this as a very big game. I don't think he's saying it from a place of fanboy. I think,
like I said, I think it depends on the game. So it's on a game-by-game basis. Even though Horizon Zero Dawn is probably still selling a lot, I think that what J-Dub said has merits. So they're using Horizon Forbidden West as like a slingshot to their DLC and to the upcoming VR game. That's why what would get people's eyes more on the IP itself, having the game at a discount or having the game on a subscription where it's going to be more advertised. They can't advertise the game going on sale everywhere, but they can advertise it being on PS Plus, whatever.
That's a good point. This game could be used as a catalyst for a bigger goal.
Let's let the Extreme have his point. See what he wants to say.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, guys, that Sony has talked before about the waterfall method, right? Of first releasing at a premium price, and then you take it to subscription, and so on and so forth, just like the movie industry. So just going back to the comment about a game of Horizon's level needing at least 3 years before it goes on subscription, do we say the same for movies? Like if Avatar Way of the Water goes into DVD or Blu-ray, within the next 3 years, is that now a flop? Like it's a failure of a film? You know, so I think the same thing applies. Sony is going to have the waterfall method, and yes, it's going to differ from game to game. For example, Sackboy, A Big Adventure, still isn't on PlayStation Plus Extra, even though it's been out longer.
Ratchet and Clank is not.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think it goes back to the point that I think Craig just said, call me Jay, which is basically like you've got VR and you've got a DLC that you want to promote. Yes. So it actually makes sense to, fast track that process. But anybody sitting here thinking like, oh, I can predict when Sony is going to do this for this game or that game, I'm sorry, you're wrong. They have more information, they have their strategies, they have their goals. There's no point in trying.
And to add to that point,
because it's true. Because Ratchet & Clank's not on the service. There are games that are still not on the service. I think it's more in tune. The reason why they put it out there, and I think you guys are right, is it has a bigger goal. They're trying to get this game out to even more people because there's products on the way. You have the DLC that's only on PS5, and you have Call of Duty, the Call of the Mountain. So those two games, they probably want more awareness, and this is a good way to get more awareness. So I think that's why this is like because it is odd that a game this big,
is.
But I can see now they probably have a bigger goal.
Is the Last of Us Part 2 even on there?
I don't think it is.
I don't think so, and that's because they don't have factions out. And I bet you when factions is coming, they're going to put it on there.
Let me ask the chat. Hey, chat, is Last of Us Part 2 on Extra?
No.
Is the DLC for Horizon going to be on that subscription service?
No. Immediately.
Okay, so this is 100% a strategic move then, because someone who, if you already have the subscription, then it doesn't really matter. But someone who doesn't really have it or have a tier below it, they're gonna see that game and they're gonna be like, "Do I subscribe, get this game, and then pay for the DLC, or I just buy the game with the DLC to have it forever?" And then someone that has VR, they are not necessarily interested in the flat screen gaming of PlayStation, but they're more interested in the PSVR 2 side of it. They see Horizon there on the subscription that they already have. They're going to play it and probably buy the DLC plus that VR game that they already are interested in.
Mm-hmm. So, and another point that I just want to quickly make is that PlayStation Plus hasn't been shown to slow down sales as much as I think it should have, because Miles Morales has been on it for like over a year now and it's still charting. Yeah. So that's crazy to me. But
I feel like PlayStation has like the way that these platform holders have like conditioned their customers to purchase or be in the ecosystem is wildly different. So Xbox has made their whole branding about Game Pass. And PlayStation is not so much about that. They treat PS Plus as like, hey, this is optional if you want to check it out, but this is what you buy a PlayStation. Xbox is like, you don't buy for this, you buy for Game Pass. Game Pass everything. When you boot up the Xbox for the first time, the first thing you see is Game Pass. You don't see games, you see just the subscription service. So I think that's why, even though the games are on the PS Plus, people either don't know or they rather just go out and buy the game because that's what the PlayStation has conditioned them to do. This is what you do. You buy the game and that's it.
Well, I don't think that's PlayStation conditioning. I just think gaming, period, since the beginning of time, since the beginning of gaming.
I don't say conditioning in a bad way.
No. I know that. I'm just saying because you got to think about it, right? Ever since we ever started gaming, we had to go to the store and spend money to buy a game. That's what we have always done. Now, this new generation, we have subscription services and things like that. We have all of these games as a service games, right? And now you see all of them all of those are dying out, and it seems like they were a fad. So I wouldn't necessarily say condition. I just think gamers, or at least old school gamers, have always done that. And so that's why, even though there's a Game Pass, and Game Pass is great for those who like it and enjoy it, you'll find out the bulk of the people would still rather buy the great games that they deem great or they deem worthy. They would rather just spend the money and own it and move on, versus being stuck in a subscription service that you may or may not enjoy, and then you cancel your subscription, your game is gone. So I think that's the uphill battle that you have.
You're 100% there. So it's not so much condition. Let me rephrase that. It's that Sony has marketed PS Now in a way, or PS Plus in a way, to where it doesn't give the customers the impression that they have to just go to the subscription route. They can just keep doing what they traditionally do, which is just buy the games.
Yeah.
So, hey, want to shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody viewing. If you don't, I hope you're enjoying the show. Metro Knight with the super chat says they can't enjoy their console because they can't accept the fact that they made a bad investment. Ouch.
Ooh,
how about they made a long-term investment? Now they're having...
No, just a bad one.
No, it's bad. Listen, the Xbox.
Actually, it's a bad long-term investment.
This Xbox is the longest-term investment I've ever seen in my life. That shit crossed the whole gen, and you're still waiting for that.
Listen, the Xbox One X, when that came out, you remember everybody was waiting for a game to take advantage, and that never came. And then the next generation came, and guys are still waiting. So it's like, dude, we've been here and done that. Those days, you forget it.
All right,
what you have now with your Xbox and your PlayStation is what you'll forever have. It is what it is. It's already set in stone. Either you like it, you can change it, go buy you a different platform. But other than that, that's it.
All right, shout out to channel member Bird. What up? Welcome aboard. Hope you enjoyed the show. Herpy Master. Oh my god.
Oh man.
No, you gotta change.
Oh man.
Herpy man. Hey, that's right. Hey, listen. I got it. Yeah. He says PlayStation Showcase means rest in peace Xbox for good. Oh man, Herpy man.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing about these guys.
Hey, just one last point on Horizon. Horizon Zero Dawn sold 20 million copies, right? And that took 5 years. If Horizon Forbidden West sold whether it's 8, 9, or 10 million copies, anywhere around that, in just 1 year,
it's a good head start.
That is a pretty good way to go. So I just don't understand this whole flop conversation.
It's just jealousy. I mean, look at the votes.
They're envy. They're envy.
Visuals. It's all part of Jim's virtuous cycle. It's true. His plan is working. Metro Knight. Isn't it interesting that they put it on the subscription right before the DLC comes out? Exactly. That's what we've been talking about. Yep. It's clear to see. Like I said, Sony's on this whole new playbook, and we just trying to catch up. We're trying to dissect it. Kratos 99. Horizon Forbidden West anniversary is coming up, so maybe Sony might announce the sales numbers. I think if it reaches 10 million, they'll definitely go there.
To add to that PS Plus whole crap, like how long has PS Plus been a thing? Like the extra and plus and premium tiers?
Well, that started 2 years ago?
When did it start?
Like 2 years ago?
A year ago. No.
When did it go live?
It was last year.
Last year.
So it has had almost, if not close to a year of this service. And how come every time they put new games, like a bunch of games, it looks so much more enticing than what Xbox
Game Pass. Exactly.
Why, bro?
In fact,
they've been out for so long.
Good segue.
Yep.
So
Game Pass looks like games with gold now. What's going on?
All right, so we'll talk about the PlayStation Plus new updated catalog library. So the PlayStation blogs posted PlayStation Plus game catalog lineup for February, and they mentioned Horizon Forbidden West, which we talked about, The Quarry for both PS4 and PS5, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Outrider, but it just says PS4. Outriders PS4 and
It never
PS5.
got a PS5 version.
They never did? Okay.
I don't think so.
I could have sworn it. I'll double check. I'll double check on that.
What? For what? What?
Did they do an update? Outriders? Well, no, Outriders PS4, PS5.
Okay. Never mind.
It's Resident Evil that just says PS4. Is there an update to Resident Evil 7 for PS5? I think there is.
I thought there was.
I thought there was an update.
Yeah. It's a PS5 version.
I know the VR of it was real good.
Hey, chat.
It was a real good VR.
Yeah, just let us know if there's a PS5 version of Resident Evil 7. Outriders, because it says the one on the store is just PS4, or the one that's coming up for PS Plus. Outriders, PS4, PS5. Scarlet Nexus, PS4, PS5 version. Borderlands 3, PS4, PS5 version. Tekken 7, PS4. Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown, PS4. Earth Defense Force 5, PS4. Oninaki, PS4. Lost Sphere, PS4. I Am Setsuna, PS4. The Forgotten City, PS4 and PS5. And then they added some PlayStation Premium Classics, which the first one I hope these classics are available for purchase. But the first one, The Legend of Dragoon. Of course, we're hyping for the remake. I think there's a small contingent. I'd say small contingent begging for this game to be remade. But it says right here for Legend Dragoon PS1, unveil a fantasy of magnificence, deception, magical combat, and retribution as you join swordsman Dart and his companions to harness the spiritual forces of dragons and triumph over evil. Using a unique and innovative tactical combat system, transform into dragoons and unleash extraordinary powers. Control a wide variety of characters that wield unique weapons and dragon attacks powered by elements in an unforgettable role-playing experience. Experience the Legend Dragoon, originally released on PS1, enhanced with up-rendering, rewind, quick save, and custom video filters. I wonder if it's going to have trophies. I'm assuming, right?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
They would have said it, I think.
Yeah.
They would have said it.
Gotta get them trophies. You know
I know. God forbid you don't do that.
Yeah, we gotta get them trophies. Hey, we pay for it. You know, where you think the $70 going? You better add them goddamn trophies. I gotta show people I played these games. That's how. That's right. That's how I show people I'm not frauding. People be like, "Portlock, you spend your day on Twitter." I be like, "Just look at my ID. Just look at my PS ID and shut your mouth." Lester, shout out to Lester. Thank you for the super chat. He said, "Just want you to show some love. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the show." Next one on the list is Wild Arms 2 for PS1. Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, PS1. Destroy All Humans, PS4. And that is a pretty decent release for subscription service. I am hoping, I'm hoping Wild Arms 2, but definitely Legend Dragoon is purchased. I have the original disc for the PS1. I'm hoping I can purchase Legend Dragoon because I will play that game. The
cool thing about this catalog is that Resident Evil and I think that Ace Combat 7 both have a VR version.
Yes.
That you can just play when you get PSVR 2.
Yes, and hopefully, I think those games are set to be updated on PSVR 2, right? That would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Even if they're not, they should still work if you just use a controller. They should just still work.
Let's just see how that works.
Because what they really got to update is just the tracking method. But that's something that they have to go in the game and change. But if not, they can use the controller, because I think those games you can also use it with a controller to play.
Yeah.
The point is that it will work.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the bulk of these developers have been going back and updating their PS4 games for the new controls and in the resolution and stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot of fucking games.
And they're doing it for free.
Shout out to Chris Hart. If you guys don't know who he is, go follow him on Twitter. But he's been keeping track. He looked at his whole catalog of VR games, his PSVR 1 games, and he was showing that 90% of them are, and we're talking, he has a list of like 50 games.
Yeah, and they're doing it for free.
90% of those are updated for PSVR 2 now, so that's awesome.
Yeah, follow him on Twitter. He said his PSVR 2 payment has gone through, so everybody needs to be on the lookout. I guess these things are coming in hot.
For some reason.
Yeah.
But like you see this list and it's like there's some okay games like Outriders. It's a pretty good game. It's okay. Tekken is pretty old, but it's coming with a new Tekken this year, so that's good publicity for Tekken and more players too. So on and so forth, right? But then not to shit the bed so hard with Xbox, but it's like Atomic Heart, really good. Yes, I'm excited for that game. But then Madden, City Skylines, and Shadow Warrior 3, like that's all you're gonna put on Game Pass.
Just the next feels
weird.
Hey, so next topic. PlayStation's kicking off 2023 PS5 really with just a destructive force. So it's already been announced that in Europe there's already been an over 200% increase and PlayStation 5 series.
Mm-hmm.
That's triple the amount of what they did last January. So year-over-year increase, meaning compared to what they did in January 2022, in January 2023, they tripled the amount of sales for that month. That shit is insane for the month of January, right? While Xbox went down 32% compared to what they did in January. And what's funny is, no, this is what's funny. They are trying to equate that. Listen, when those few months Xbox Series platforms was outselling PlayStation in early 2021, whatever, we were telling people Sony's announcing they have shortages. They can't produce enough. And nobody wanted to hear that excuse. Nobody wanted to hear. They thought that was an excuse. That the Xbox Series platform was in higher demand. That was the main reason. Yet now in 2023, they're trying to use the shortage excuse for Xbox. In 2023. Like, no. Like, there is no shortage. There's no COVID shortage now. Like no. Like
the Chinese balloon.
In fact, I remember they talking about Microsoft had chip priority. They paid for chip priority, right? Like PlayStation's demand is increasing, and this is why I'll say at the end of the day we could console war all we want. We could talk shit. Gifts means whatever, but at the end of the day, you will be able to see the objective data. Right, and actually see what's actually happening in the real world, outside of our community and all the shit talking and all the misinformation or real information we push. At the end of the day, all you gotta do is just shut your mouth and look at the real world environment. When you see PlayStation triple their sales compared to what they did last year, and Xbox going down by 32%, that tells you all you need to know. You don't need to listen to any fanboy. You don't need to listen to any podcast. That you should just see for yourself, like, holy shit is going left for one brand and one is going all the way right. Like, one is blowing it out the box, while the other one, you have to ask yourself, what the fuck is happening? And that's it. You don't need anybody to tell you anything. You don't need no podcast. You don't need to look at no weird tweets. A 200% increase, triple the sales, while the other one's down 32%. That lets you know, shit is crazy out here.
Not only that, P-Rock.
They in the red, Puerto Rock. They in the red.
Not only that, P-Rock, but they not only did they have chip priority allegedly, but they produce more Series S consoles because you can make more of them than you can X with the same die. So there's a lot more Series S out in the market. That's the cheapest next gen quote unquote console out there. So they have more consoles that were the cheapest next gen consoles to get, and people still chose to get PlayStation.
Oh, and not only that, this is a region where hold up. Not only that, good point.
I was told
one more point
by a certain fan base that because of the $199 and let's face it, the price of the Series S is $199. It's been $199. You can find it anywhere for $199 for the latter part of a whole year. And that thing has never been sold out. The Series X, for the most part, they probably don't make many of them because
they don't
the
make
sales
enough.
It's just
another good point. Europe,
supply demand for them.
Not only that, Europe is a place where they raise the price on PlayStation. So technically, they tripled the price on a more expensive product as compared to the year before that.
Yeah.
And
who would have known that who would have known that if someone really wants something, they're just gonna buy it regardless of how much it costs? Who would have known?
Yo, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Well, and I guess there's a bigger question to ask though. Is you got the world's most powerful console and you got the world's weakest next gen console. If you can't win with those, man, I don't know.
Yo,
and the best deal in gaming.
You got Game Pass, right? I mean, dude, I don't know. Here's the thing, though. Here's another kicker. Microsoft has opened its ecosystem up to where billions of people can easily and cheaply be in its ecosystem, right? You can get it on a Samsung TV, you can get it on a tablet or phone, you can get it on, pretty much anything. Web browser. You can access Xbox from anywhere, anytime for a little of nothing. And yet people choose to go the other way. Why is that?
Good question.
The games
It's the games, man. It's the games, man. It always comes down to the game. We say this.
Games.
People say that every damn gen, and like people still don't get it. They think it's quality of life or community. Like, bro, to be a gamer is to be about the games, and that's it. At the end of the day, it comes down to that. You know,
can I say something controversial?
The reality about Game Pass is that even though it's a good service, it's still an Xbox branded service. So if Xbox themselves aren't pushing hard with their own games, it tells people around that are looking at the service, it's like, why would I subscribe when you are not supporting it as hard as other people are? Like they're mostly spending their money on third-party games that they can just buy elsewhere, but they're not pushing out all their games from all their studios into the service, like back to back. Like Phil Spencer has said multiple times in multiple interviews that he wants every month or every 3 months like a banger game to come out on Game Pass from their first party studios. It's never happened. Where is it?
I'll tell you this. Xbox is just niche. It's niche.
It's niche. I always said it's the niche brand.
Has to be a place.
All right, shout out. Oh boy, here we go. We got Herpy Master with the $2 chat. Oh my god, he said, "Love you, P Rock, as a man." Like, oh shit.
Pause.
No, pause. I'm a married man. I'm a married man. Yo, like, oh Lord, yo, this
Not them again.
He said, "You gonna eat your cornbread?"
we go, snap. You know, he's like, hold my left pants pocket. Like, oh snap, yo, it ain't safe in the yard. My man said, hold my left pants pocket. Like,
He said, "Pull my finger."
Oh shit. Oh man, this podcast went left. Oh, yo, this ain't Z's podcast, bro. Chill out. Oh man. Oh shit. This turn. Yo, I'm quite uncomfortable right now. I'm quite uncomfortable. All right, next topic. I don't even have another topic. Somebody say another topic. What are you about to say? Extreme. Yeah. Go Extreme.
Oh man, shit went left quick.
Listen, I wanted to say that I think the reason that Game Pass isn't working with the whole day and date promise is because, like, I'm sorry to say, but gaming is not an expensive hobby. And let me explain what I mean. We often say that gaming is an expensive hobby because you have to buy the console, you have to buy the games, they cost $70, $80 or whatever. But gaming is one of the only hobbies on earth where waiting for the product to go on sale usually improves your experience. You know, aside for some multiplayer games that, you know, you might miss the wave or whatever. When it comes to most games, you actually get a better product, arguably, for waiting for it to go on sale, like dirt cheap. So I just don't think that solving the issue of accessing a game at launch from a financial standpoint was ever really a problem that needed solving, because the people that could afford it were always going to buy it, and the people that couldn't afford it were used to the fact that they just had to wait until it became
or they got to use, or they got to use.
Exactly, or they got to use or wait for a friend, or whatever it is. Like, there was always a way.
And there was always a rental service.
Get the experience.
Like, America had Gamefly, I don't know what, Europe has or whatever. There was always a way. There was, and you know what, Extreme, that's not, I don't think, it's not what you called it, a shocking comment or controversial comment. It's not controversial. Not controversial at all, because there was always methods to get games cheaply, whether you borrowed it, rental,
absolutely,
use, whatever. The problem.
And
go ahead. Finish.
Sorry, I was going to say that I think that when we say that gaming is an expensive hobby, I always think to myself, like, do you have no other hobbies? Like, try cycling, try snowboarding, try any other hobby that you can think of, and then see how expensive that shit gets. And you almost never get the same product at a lesser price. Like, you don't just get your weight on the surfboard and it goes from like $5,000 to like $5 or $50. Like, it doesn't happen. There'll be a sale and
they don't have surfboard pass. You get unlimited surfboards for $15 a month.
No, but that is a good point. That is a good point. The longer you wait on something, usually it's best, especially now with all these live service games. Like, you just wait and you buy Call of Duty now, and it's way better than it was when it came out.
Exactly, and so, it's like
right. So like the baseline to get into gaming is really cheap, but the baseline to being other hobbies, like Extreme said, is a lot more expensive. If you want to really cycle and stuff like that, it's very expensive. So
I have a $7,000 bicycle. Do you think it goes down? Like, no. Every year they just come with another $7,000 bicycle, and then if yours is on sale, it goes from $7,000 to $6,000. Like, that's all you get, you know. So it's just like, Every time people say gaming is expensive, I'm like, yeah, I get it. It has an upfront cost like everything else in life.
Well,
As soon as you're in,
here's the thing.
as soon as you're in gaming, that's it.
Yeah. When they say gaming is an expensive hobby, it's because you have to look at it this way. They don't just release 1 or 2 games a year. They drop probably 50 to 60, probably more games a year. And constantly, right, you see us buying all of these games. Every time a new one come out, we're talking on it. We're buying it constantly. Buying it. It's just... Like that over time can get expensive. For example,
no, definitely.
If you
buy it day one, right?
Yes.
And then yes, you're absolutely right. Like you are living expensive, but that's because you choose to.
True.
Because again, you can choose to wait, right?
The hardcore.
Like, for example, for me with cycling, when I am
like J-Dub, you're like an enthusiast. You're an enthusiast PlayStation user, so you like get everything up front. Brand new, the best racing wheels, the best chair, the best TV. So you're the enthusiast grade. So for you, it's
you're the outlier. You're the outlier. Whereas
and next gen too. Next gen San Antonio, of course.
For me, when I'm cycling, there are consumables. I don't just buy the bicycle once and then that's it. I have to buy like the tires and the inner tubes and all of the things that go along with
the Xbox branded tires.
Exactly.
Game Pass.
I wish they would, because I could actually use a subscription service for tires. Let me tell you, because they are like $70 and I have to buy them like every 6 weeks.
Oh man, and listen. This podcast, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is about to go left. The moment we talk about man on man love and herpes, next thing shows up. Oh man,
we praying.
Oh man, we're playing to Otis. We're playing to Otis. We're playing to Otis, the Most High.
He's trying to introduce us to Bison.
Oh shit, ladies and gentlemen,
Pastor London Love came in.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh snap!
Praise God.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we mention man-on-man sex and herpes, next gen shows up. Oh my God! Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. We got Otis
in Jesus' name.
Yo, we got the original outdated model, the first bot to go out there, the very first model, serial number 1. Serial number 1, the blueprint. He's throwing stuff. Oh man, my brother. Next shit, man. My man out there playing Forspoken.
The VCR.
Oh shit.
The VCR model.
You know what I'm saying? Oh man.
Now the route here you talking about?
Look, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Now people don't even remember where the term pony came from. They culturally appropriated his slang.
Hey yo, whitewash that motherfucker, didn't
they did.
They got a history with that motherfucker, didn't they?
Oh shit. Hey yo, oh shit, my brother, man, it's been a minute. How you been, brother?
What's good with you, man? What you niggas talking about? You about to close?
Let's get
close up shop.
This shit. What happened? What?
What you talking about? You closing up shop? What you talking about?
Hey, shit. The party just started now that you here.
Oh.
Hey, let me ask you this. Next. You know, it's been a while. It's been a long time. And I know I gotta get on your show because we gotta do the interview.
Absolutely, yeah.
But since you're here, like, listen.
Yes, sir.
Do you have this feeling that history is repeating itself?
As far as what?
And that as far as just PlayStation dominating Xbox again.
Oh yeah.
And you're left with this pieces of like, fuck, bro. Like, you an Xbox dude. You were there for the beta.
Yeah, okay, so
you were there from the beginning.
You talking about going back to...
No, like, does it feel like history is repeating itself again when you were promised so much?
Okay, let's say like this thing, right? And, it's sad to say, I'm going to say, I like to play Gears. I'm a Gears head, but like I said, I'm always going to have a console. I only do the PC thing, but you're right. You end with nothing and you start with nothing. I didn't listen. In a million years, I didn't see that coming. Like, fucking everybody double coded, but damn, so nothing. Last year, like, you end with nothing on low end and you start on low end. How do you do that? Because in 2015, you didn't release the console in 2020. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you did this already. COVID is not. Like, so what the hell are they working on back here?
It's not Matrix. It's still his fault. It's not Matrix's fault.
Jokers be getting exposed. When they work on this game, they not putting on the game now because they're gearing up for next generation and it's all over again. Real talk.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, all right, Xbox One X was coming out. I remember you were like hyped for that. And you're like, yeah, and then they did nothing with it. And it's because it's because the new shit's coming. 480 Day 2.0.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, It's 2023.
They came
bro.
out with
like,
no game.
Like, what are we doing it, bro?
Yeah, man, bro.
Give
Man, shit wild, bro. Shit spooky. Yeah, that shit, man. You think about it, bro. But no, let real talk. Like, not to be on no pro pony shit, but if you just think about it being, I don't think there's possibility to have a all pro Xbox show. Number pro Xbox. I'm too goddamn lying. Like, I'm just keep everything all the way apart.
And listen, you wrote the blueprint. Right, you know, like you were doing it when Xbox was kind of hurting, right? It wasn't too bad in 2015, right? They still had a little fight. They will still had Titanfall, they had Sunset Overdrive, Quantum Break. You know, they were still releasing AAA games. Now, whether your opinion about those AAA games differ, but the existence of the games did exist. They were releasing titles. It's just whether they were hits or not. So, you know, you with BGST, you were hitting the blueprint. But goddamn, what material? Hold up, am I shit?
Fucking Forza, like, nigga. What else? Like,
In the same.
I can hear. Oh, I think something happened. I think something happened to the Discord. Testing. Y'all can hear me?
Let me ask you this.
Hold up.
Development here.
Alright.
Fucking Halo, they start that shit from scratch with a whole other engine again. You see what I'm saying? Like every game they got, there's something spooky with it. Starfield was delayed the whole year, right? So it's like, oh shit, here we go with Halo again, right? So it's like Redfall, you know. But I mean, at the end of the day,
I think it was Discord.
Phil Spencer is.
you repeat, right?
No. I think Discord kind of like brought it out for everybody, and now we're back. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I feel like, man, I'm gonna be honest. This their last go round, Jack. This is it. This is
I said the same.
We keep saying this every generation, though. We keep saying this every generation.
No, hey, bro, they don't worse this generation than the previous generation. That's by facts.
Yeah.
These last generation at the start for the first 3 years, 3.5, you had games. Whether you liked it or not.
Yeah. Like I said, like whether you liked it or not, the existence that you saw, they were pushing games. It's just whether.
Yeah.
But here, they're not even giving us content to make fun of.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. But
let me ask you this, Space
Do you trust them with? Do you trust them with Blizzard Activision though? After you seeing all of this shit, do you trust them with yet another big AAA publisher with Call of Duty and all this shit? If they can't even get.
No, I'm gonna tell you why, and not to be Debbie Downer, because just with that duty alone comes with a lot of different shit. You got this right now. We got one team that does the Warzone, and you got Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer. Hell no, they can't manage what they got. They need help. You know what I mean? Since they hired Square Enix and a couple other motherfuckers help them games, old studios. Like, I mean, and it's not me just I say shit on the projects. He's being honest. If we gonna live in our truth in Jesus' name, you know what I mean? At the end of the day. But like I said, what I was saying before, and you can take it from here, is that I would say, gotta be honest, one thing's to change. You know, the cap won't be the cap. It is what it is, either way, right? But the fact that you go out there and have motherfuckers again capping, excuse my French, but she can be capping about Penniman and all of the shit. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Anybody want a console to play that shit? We gotta be honest here, right? Instead of how you say, holding their feet to the fire and not listen, we just had the video game award show.
Uh-oh, did it freeze again? Yo, Discord's bugging. It's Discord. I don't know what's going on with Discord. It's Discord. You hear me? You guys hear me? It's Discord.
Hey, that shit wild is. You know what I mean? But like I said, I don't know, man. But even listen, fuck them. I'm not people we sold about part of this. Even with the last show, right? And be honest for you. If you didn't have an Xbox and I have one, that's not you make you want to buy a console. The purpose you putting on shows is us keeping your core. If they're gonna be honest, excited, is getting new customers. Nothing makes more like, come on, goddamn Minecraft again. Like we already seen Forza. Like, where's the new shit?
Yeah.
We get hyped for. Like, you know what I mean? These car fire, they're bigger than goddamn cans. Car fire, man, come on, bro. Not seen it, bro. That ain't it, man. That ain't it.
Oh man.
Let me ask you this, Z.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
Let me ask you this. So, in hindsight, you've been with Xbox since the beginning. We know your story.
It's Inception, yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
it's Inception. Like I said, you were part of the beta. You know what I'm saying? You were one of the first black men to be victimized by racism in the server. You were one of the first, right? You know, you were what is it? Crispus. What was his name? The first black man died in America.
Crispus Addicts.
Crispus Addicts. You're the Crispus Addicts. You know what I'm saying? You're the Crispus Addicts of this, right? Can you pinpoint to where you think the beginning of how everything just went downhill began? Was it Don Matrick? Was it Phil being hired? Like where do you was it Connect? Where do you think the big like where the match got lit?
Okay, before the Xbox went downhill.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be honest because they convinced. First of all, they convinced themselves. They that Donnie was the problem. Did they fucking with the TV? TV shit absolutely misread the market. Get it, but we had games. Like it's always about the goddamn games, right?
Right.
And that's just before Phil's been going in charge going on 10 years. They can't name me not one AAA game that he brought to the table. In my opinion, I think for any console generation should be. That's what.
Sea of Thieves.
No, that came from Donnie D.
That was also Donnie D too. God damn.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Let me hop out to this hop back in. I think it's breaking. Let me hop out.
I think it's everybody.
Does that sound better?
Yeah, I think it's everybody. I think Discord in general is fucking up.
No, for whatever I was doing, you pop back. I don't know who can hear me or whatever. But I'm gonna say this one thing. I don't know if you heard me or not. I said for any console generation, I guess you need one new AAA game. Sony had it with a couple, whether the Ghost of Tsushima, a bunch of other stuff. It is what it is, right? Spider-Man series that was new. Spider-Man games, it was not the same thing here, right? Yeah. And the problem with Gears, I guess if you want to see how you run into, like say, franchise overseas, Gears, Forza, and Halo, they haven't had a new big AAA game to take fill the void, lift the weight. You're still back to Gears, Forza, and Halo. Like I mean, what you've always had, Gears, Forza, and Halo. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that in itself is. The problem. Like, no one here plays fucking Sea of Thieves. No one really have. It's not a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If Joker's going to be honest, you know what I mean? Right. High five, Rush.
So what do you go from here, guys? I mean, where do you go from
here?
The
goddamn, the Goodwill.
The Salvation Army. Oh,
so what if Starfield is a dud? What if it's a dud? Then what?
As far as what? I'm not saying type games. So okay. If it's not what it is, or how you say there's something I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be wait till Xbox guys say he's gonna say wait to Hellblade or hey wait, you know how that shit go, bro.
That keep going, keep the can down the road.
Wait till Tokyo Game Show.
It's gonna be the same thing over again.
Shout out to Vedger. Vedger says, why did Xbox did better at the launch of Xbox One was because PlayStation went away from game engines made for cell architecture and had to start over. That could be a reason, but I mean ultimately though, but at the end, Xbox was still moving with games. Like, it's really hard to pinpoint how far they fell. I think one of the biggest mistakes is instead they took on too much too fast instead of going back to the beginning. Like PlayStation, we all know PlayStation fucked up in the beginning with PS3. You know, work 2 jobs. So processor, we're gonna heal diabetes, watch movies, and they realize they fucked up. So Sony, in the same jet, say, you know what? Scratch all this bullshit. We're just gonna go back to the basics. We're just gonna make games, and we're gonna make almost any game and see what sticks on the wall. We're gonna throw Battle All Stars, Mod Nation Racers, God of War 3, hey, Demon Souls, hey, let's invest in that. They just went with the games. They did nothing else crazy. Just games. And they continued that philosophy into the PS4. I think Microsoft should have had that same approach. Fuck all the bullshit about the world's most powerful console. Fuck all the bullshit about this. We're just going to go back to the core principle of Xbox. Get games, get second-party support, right? Buy these titles. What's up?
The problem with that is that they no longer know what their core want.
That's true.
Even the type of games that they go after, those are like some PC shit after. It's not And that's why I was questioning, like, who are these new Xbox guys? We like, you know what I mean? Like, shit, we ain't play games like that. Not knocking niggas like the Tropico 5s. And that's like
Godzilla.
Thing, you know what I mean?
Godzilla.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I just think they no longer, and that's before, they no longer know what they core wants. You know what I mean? You know, how you say we don't, we do that, but we no longer matter to them. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And that's the problem. He's worried about the 99 and not the one.
Yeah.
He said, "How you been mastered? Many ain't mastering shit." But yeah, you know what I mean, he said, "Work on a 2 billion gamer. You can't take this console shit first. You worry about the goddamn 2 billion gamer, and that's the fact." You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? And I mean, let's to add to that, because console gamers and PC gamers, we're two different consumers, totally different. You know what I mean? And you worry about the 2 billion and say, the games that you release, and being honest with you, Sea of Thieves or the Everwilds, the goddamn console games. That's what we do. You know what I mean? But I shall I digress.
All right, brother. All right, we're gonna cut the show to this. We gotta definitely link up on your channel and do your interview.
Oh, for sure. You might gotta start your Discord. That's what happened. You might be started sometime and do this shit.
Start your proudly.
Close it. Yeah.
Right. But anyway, hey, I want to say shout out to everybody in the chat. I want to say thank you.
Absolutely.
You know, hey, this is my boy. You know, he put me on to this YouTube. The Godfather put a lot of people on, but only few. Only few recognize the credit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, hey, I'm saying up here. You know what I'm saying? You know, when I only have one viewer on the channel, it was Z, and he was saying this channel's dog shit. In the chat, this show is dog shit, you know. But he was there though. But I want to say shout out to Z and stuff like that. I want to shout out to all the panel members that showed up. I want to say appreciate it. Extreme, thank you for showing up. You know, of course, J Dub, Craig dipped out. Call me J dipped out. I want to say shout out to thank you to them. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this impromptu makeup session on 60 Frames No Lag. Check me out. You know, we'll keep you posted when I'll show up on Z show. We're gonna cut it up over there. Now there's craziness. Over there is craziness. You know, it's you know what I'm saying? It's just craziness. It's it's like, you know, it's the Thunderdome over there. But, you know, oh man. But anyway, hey, your only friend is YouTube Streets Port77. We are out of here. You guys take care. We out. Peace.
Sure.
So you going on? Did they get your Twitch back? You going on Twitch?
Oh no! I was saying.